Welcome to 21st Century Inklings. It's like, welcome back if you're one of my subscribers or recent viewers. And then we're going to continue doing one thing after another. So we've introduced our characters, introduced our world, introduced conflict, maybe through an antagonistic force or an antagonist, a villain. And that's pretty much Act 1. The end of Act 1, the hero, the main character, is going to make a decision to engage with that conflict. And Act 2 is the consequences of making that decision. At least, certainly in the first half, consequences of making that decision. And then, once they've tried to deal with it a little bit, about midway through the book, they realize if I don't change the way I'm dealing with this, this is not going to go well. They're going to die, their world's going to die, whatever the particular stakes of the story is. And then, based on that realization, they start changing the way they're doing things based on things that they've learned within particularly the second act, ultimately leading to the end of the second act where they've made another major decision. That major decision is it's got to be dealt with now and in a particular fashion. That conflict. Then making certain that they have a final battle. What that final battle is going to look like is different depending on genre. This is like a big, massive, epic fantasy like Lord of the Rings. Um, if you ever get that far, A Song of Ice and Fire, it's going to be some huge, big battle that has to be resolved. And it's like a cozy, sweet fantasy. It's like a cozy, sweet romance. Well, yeah, it's just like the hero and the heroine are going to deal with the issue in their internal, uh, what's keeping them apart and bring them together, which ultimately results in an aftermath, that resolution. As is like the romance, hey, they ride off into the sunset, happily ever after is like, or at least happily for now, whatever that happens to be. And then has like big battles. That's really what happens afterwards. Um, in things like the Lord of the Rings, there's like little multiple kind of climaxes and resolutions. Okay, you got the big climax, the worldwide climax. Um, the man of the hour has come to the fore. Frodo's destroyed the ring. The king has come, and that pretty much ties it off right there. This is one big, climax and resolution, but not shown in the movies. There's a secondary climax and resolution. Climax is like, okay, they've saved the world. Now the hobbits go home, and they have to save their own home. A scouring of the Shire. And then the aftermath of that battle, which in the aftermath of that, that's when Frodo ultimately goes to the Valinor. So it kind of has a little bit of both. It was like, the Song of Ice and Fire. Well, it's like the ultimate long-term story. We haven't gotten that yet. We have hints of what that may be, but we do not know what that actually is. We may never know officially um, from J.R.R. Martin's pen, but that's a whole nother conversation. But it's like, okay, it's that buried bringing it to a closure, to an end. So it's like maybe if it's a serialized thing, There'll be, some threads that might not be quite resolved, um, but then there's also things as like most of it's all going to be tied up together already. However, that there may be some of those bits and pieces. For me, in the second, at least originally planned, second um, book of my big long episodic um, chronologizing a family. Well, there's going to be one thread that's going to be entirely happy for now because of a little bit of romantic bent. Um, the villain's going to get crushed for a little bit, but he's also going to have some things that are not quite entirely tied up just yet. And certainly that's been the case with the original that worked with. Um, I know, like, hints of what's going to happen next, but it doesn't actually happen there, like right there at the very end. So, big battle, the enemy is defeated, but there's still some aftermath and lots of little bits and pieces that have to work together. Next time, we're going to discuss a little bit of what happens when things don't go according to plan, or you get into the writing and it shifts. It's like, until next time, happy writing.